Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Monday. It is Monday, March the 6th, 2023. Of course, it is Dave Sturchio. It is Chris Gueci over there.
It is.
And we are coming to you live from Chop Studios right here in Matawan, New Jersey. And we hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's a new week. Let's get things started, right? And we had ourselves a fantastic weekend of sports. Look, all around. I mean, obviously, this isn't the show or platform to talk UFC, but John Jones is back. We kind of saw that coming. So John Jones, he does a wonderful thing over on Saturday night, so I stayed up for that.
Relative ease.
The one thing I just really wish they would do is just, I understand there's West Coast, but just start the pay-per-view at 9, you know, and end it so like they're not walking out at 12:40. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I am dropping. I am like injecting myself with caffeine at the end of the night, just trying. And even my stream went out for a second. I started to panic. Right? I texted you.
I got the panic text at like
12:30.
And,
dude, what happened?
And usually, like, you know how bad I am.
I mean,
at texting.
I ordered it on ESPN Plus. What are you even talking about?
You know how bad I am at texting, right? And then I see those, and I'm like, all right, I'll get on this one.
Yeah,
I'll respond. He's got like 4 minutes. They're doing the walkout right now.
What a nice guy. So
I
anyway,
even threw you 3 streams.
You did. What he means is he threw me 3 ESPN Plus links to click on, all different
several
ones.
logins.
Yes, yes.
I bought the pay-per-view 4 times for all my friends.
Yes,
basically.
exactly. What a good guy. See, business is good over here. It's booming, as some Antonio Brown would say.
Oh, did you see Antonio Brown's catch? Bro.
Wait, what?
No, I'm not even kidding.
Wait, what cat? What are you talking
Antonio Brown was at Rolling Loud.
about? Rolling Loud. Okay, our friend James Rue was over at Rolling Loud, too. Where was that?
At where they play music. So look, he was on stage. Someone threw a football from the crowd, and he's got the mic in his hand. He one hand snagged it.
Oh, of course he did.
CTE does not affect your hands.
Get back in the game. No, he'll never see the light of day as far as that. But we'll start with the NBA, guys. 26 games over the weekend, and you know who's going to miss the next 2? Ja Morant. Oh, God, what are we doing, bro?
Did the Knicks win last night?
Oh, we'll get into the Knicks.
I'm curious. I know it was overtime.
Double overtime. Oh, man, we'll get into it. But anyway, Ja Morant, that's the story right now because he is one of the faces of the NBA. We talked about it a little bit last week where there's an article coming out where he may have gotten into a little bit of a scuffle with a underage person. But now, dude, my guy. Like, yeah, let's
what
just.
What are you doing, Ja?
Let's put the piece away. We understand it's like legal in states and all that stuff.
Could we just go back in time, just a short period here? So there's been rumors of things like this happening with Ja Morant. Like, this didn't just come out. Like, it came out, got buried. But there's now what I'm reading is that there may or may not have been 2 or 3 more incidents very similar to him beating up the 17-year-old, where he's just, you know, on the basketball court in the off season and he's acting like he is a kingpin, or I don't know what he's trying to do. I'm not going to get into all that, but when Shannon Sharp came out and said, Ja, you're not a thug. Stop acting that way. You grew up rich. I'm not even here to get into all that, right? But then the news comes out about Ja Morant beating up a 17-year-old, and then at that point in time, his father, who I know is heavily involved in his son's career, his coaching staff, his agent, you name it, his mom, whoever it might be that has, a voice in Ja Morant's ear needs to be like, bro, come on. Like, what are we doing here? You got kids looking up to you. You're a star of the league. Going into this season, going into the point where Ja Morant said, I'm fine in the West, he could do no wrong. I feel like Ja Morant was like, everyone was piling on Zion.
I became a massive fan of Ja.
Everyone was piling on Zion in terms of like the bust. Ja Morant was getting all the love from that class. He was, and rightfully so, superstar. Ja Morant is doing bad things for his career.
Can all of a sudden, can you say from that draft class, can you say the 3rd overall pick is the most, not successful?
Are you trying to say RJ Barrett?
I'm trying to say he's the one playing the most games, and I'm trying to say he's not getting any trouble.
Playing the most games? No. Ja Morant plays more games.
Well, you might not play any more games going forward.
Or as much. I think Ja Morant missed a couple weeks last year, but
all I'm saying is
no. I think that you could look even further in the draft to find somebody. I think RJ Barrett is not living up to it. Personally, I think look, he'll have games. He's not a terrible player, but I think that he's killing the Knicks right now. The Knicks could, if RJ Barrett was what they drafted him to be, the Knicks would be a real contender in the East right now.
I think they're a real contender in the East right now. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, right before we get into the Knicks Celtics from yesterday, the Nets beat the Celtics on Friday night. That happened over the weekend. Bridges, what?
Kill the Knicks in the series. The
What?
Bucks.
No, we'll see about that. Bridges goes for 38. He smashes his 20.7 over. Tatum goes for 22 on Friday, and he fell short. He had a 27.8 over on the liquid props over the weekend. 76ers beat the Bucks 133-130. Great game over there. I watched that game actually through and through. Harden goes for 38. He drains 5 threes, which actually smashed his over again. They set that bar at 2.9. So if you bet the liquid prop of over on the threes, you hit that one as well. And yesterday, obviously the Suns, KD played Kyrie. It was the Suns and the Mavs. So look, Durant goes for 37. The Suns get the job done. Great last-second bucket out of Durant. Looks like he's having some fun over there. It's just crazy what a new team can do to a guy. You know what I mean? Like, he just feels like he's reinvigorated into the game.
KD was putting up numbers, but now he's got a real championship aspirations that he gets injected into his season with about a month to go.
Yeah.
I want to circle back real quick just to kind of throw egg on my own face here.
Yes, you will. Go ahead.
So when you're making comments about the Knicks, and I'm talking like they're not real contenders in the East.
Okay.
If you just rewound this season, right, and you listen to me talking about the Knicks, I've just given them no credit along the way. I say, oh, they're a tough team. They might be able to make the postseason in the play-in and then get bounced in the first round. And now as we've gotten to this point in the season, I will say, I'm saying the Knicks aren't real contenders because I'm looking at the Bucks and the Sixers, but that's it.
Well, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
So that's like, what it is. So
maybe the Cavs, maybe.
I think the word contenders is wrong.
Celtics, yeah.
I think the word contenders is wrong. They are a really good team in the East right now. Right now, you have two teams that are on top of the East in the Bucks and the Sixers who are really, really, really good.
And the Celtics, which fair.
The Knicks have beat them. They haven't lost to the Celtics this year.
I don't think the Knicks are going into the playoffs as a favorite, no matter what.
It depends. It depends. If they get to the 4th seed and they have some home games, then maybe.
If you think if the Knicks and the Celtics, I think the Knicks would be underdogs in every game, which is fine. You know, they wouldn't be favored against the Celtics. Let's just be honest.
When the season started, a man named Immanuel Quickley was like plus 2,000 to win like 6th man of the year. Now, after yesterday's performance, he jumped to plus 135.
Wow.
Immanuel Quickley.
Do you know Sauce got that in at? He put it in 3 weeks ago at
6th man?
Yeah.
Well, it's moving.
The odds were almost plus 3,000, maybe even higher when he placed the bet. The next day it was like plus 1,200. Now a week later it's like he's
130. Yeah, he's right there.
He should be favored.
Well, right now he puts a unbelievable performance as the Knicks beat the 76ers. I'm sorry, beat the Celtics again. And this time 131-129, double overtime. Listen, there's a couple possessions that I really wish they had back, and I don't know what they drew up, but they get to double overtime. Quickly goes for 38. 38. But the big thing is the guy played like 54 minutes, man. Like when the second half started, he didn't go to the bench. So Quickly and look, this is a Knicks win with Brunson out with foot soreness.
I asked you this as a Knicks fan, and we're talking about how R.J. Barrett may be the third.
Barrett goes for 29.
Okay, which Knick would you rather get rid of right now if you had to pick or retain? Would you rather keep Quickley, or would you rather keep Barrett?
They play a different position.
But if you had to.
I mean, Barrett's young, but Quickly's younger. I'll take Quickley for the spark. I mean,
defense.
I mean, it's a hard debate, but I'm just happy to have them both. So.
Yeah, no, I think what you make the good point of, like, I think Barrett has a higher ceiling, maybe.
I mean, that's
maybe
what
not.
You coming out of the draft, and like that's like the fall guy.
Like
he was the one that kind of fell in our laps.
The public and the consensus would assume that it's Barrett, but I don't know that he's a better player.
Quickly, the thing about Quickly is
more to the table.
The thing about Quickly is, and by the way, this is a massive stat. Ready? The guy plays for over 50 minutes. He turned the ball over one time.
No, that's what I'm saying. His plus minus is probably so good.
It's ridiculous right now. And Quickly is playing inspired ball. And remember, this guy comes off the bench when Brunson is in there. So it's very interesting to see how they play this out.
Isn't he like 6'7"?
Oh, Quickley?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that, but Quickley, he's a lanky guy.
Well, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, bro. If you're
He's 6'3", but you're 4 inches off. But yeah, no, it feels like
he's got a wingspan on him because he seems like he plays a lot longer than that.
Yeah. But in any event,
I'm not asking you to search his wingspan.
No, I'm looking right at him. But that's funny. As the funny part is, coming out of college, they said that Quickley, if he just matured a little bit and played a two-way ball, he'd be a superstar, right? And obviously the jury's still not out on the guy, but the Knicks right now have won 9 straight games. They're sitting there firmly entrenched in the 5 seed.
Peaking way too early.
Early, dude.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
March.
Just messing with you, bro.
It is.
I'm here to ruffle feathers.
And not for nothing, but this is like the perfect time to really catch a burner because like towards the end of the year, you got guys that are resting. You got guys, that are just kind of. Yes, they're not giving it their all.
Julius Randle is day to day.
Julius Randle, Friday night, hits a buzzer beater to beat Miami in Miami. So it's like these guys, 2 straight wins on the road, 9 straight overall. The Knicks are playing really, really good basketball right now. And again, you can't say enough about the performance of what Brunson has done. So that's another thing. What Quickley has done this year is he has learned under a mature Jalen Brunson.
Well,
and you can't say enough about that.
When you get what the Brunson thing did was it created 2 roles that the Knicks needed because Quickley was being maybe asked to be doing too much or you needed more out of him because you weren't getting enough out of your starting point guard. Now the Knicks actually have a legitimate point guard, and not only just a legitimate point guard that's playing well, it looks like he's going to play well for quite some time. Again, I've been wrong. I'm wrong about the Knicks a lot because I don't like them.
You know what it is?
I just bashed them because it's
You know what it is? The Knicks fan base is very...
Cowboys like.
You nailed it. It's a very look. The Knicks fan base doesn't go in thinking they're going to win a championship every year, but
it's like you want it so bad.
But you won that. You win that first game.
The minute you get like even a shred of success, you're like, this is the one. This is the team.
It's like
you find out in the playoffs.
You're looking at their first win of the season like 2 years ago, and that's when the bing bong things start. Everybody's going crazy. The Knicks are a fun team to watch. Look, 2 years they fell flat on their face. The lollipop that you found underneath the couch, Trae Young, like he went off and crushed the Knicks that year. This year, all roads are leading to the Knicks if they don't catch the 4, or even if they get the 4. The 4-5 matchup could more than likely be the Knicks and the Cavs, and you're going to have to deal with a guy that you missed out on, and that could be the Trae Young of 2 years ago.
I feel like it could be important for the Knicks to turn that corner. I feel like if you date back even to a long time ago with Reggie Miller and things like that, like the Knicks have had rivalries where they've just gotten the short end of it constantly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying the Donovan Mitchell Cavs thing has created a rivalry, but to me and to these players, it should have. Like Cavs and the Knicks, there's not much to that historically. But right now, in the current scope of this situation, the players could have had Donovan Mitchell as a teammate. It ended up not working out.
But
let's beef on the court. Let's settle it on the court.
Let's also
get a
take into
rivalry
consideration
going.
that guys like Quickley and RJ Barrett were on the table for a potential trade. So, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But again, the Knicks are playing really good basketball right now, and you can't deny that at all. So the NFL Combine comes and goes, right? And there's a lot to be discussed about it. A lot of these guys showed out on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, the entire time. I wanted to get into some CJ Stroud and Bryce Young like quotes and stuff that these guys have been saying, and I will get to that. But you got to start off with Anthony Richardson. The guy all of a sudden stock all the way up. You know what I mean? I'm not just talking about in the Mojo Market. I'm talking about in just the draft stock. Like the kid runs like the wind. He has a cannon for an arm. I don't see many flaws in the game. And again, you're watching these guys throwing their underwear.
He set the record for
fastest 40 time for a quarterback.
The fastest 40 time for a quarterback. He set the record for the broad jump, the long jump, the high jump, you name it. Athletically, he's breaking records.
He's very gifted.
And bro, you ready for this? We're talking about as we move forward into this. We're talking about Bryce Young's size. There's a lot of undersized quarterbacks that are athletic.
He's coming in at 5'10".
Not Richardson.
No, Bryce Young.
He's 6'2", 250.
I mean, he runs like a horse. He's looking. You know what he looks like?
Nick Chubb.
Not the ball.
Looks like Nick Chubb.
Not that. I'm saying when Dak came out of college, he was a thick boy too. Taller, thicker.
Is it
could
2 C's?
Still move.
Spell that.
What?
Thick boy.
2 C's at the end.
O-I?
Yes. 100%.
Thick boy.
So, but anyway, Richardson looks like he could potentially move in to the conversation of one of these quarterbacks that are taken early. I mean,
Chonky King.
he literally is. Bro, the kid looked incredible over the weekend. And again, how do you take that? Like, how do you look at, look, the scouts are all over it. The GMs they're zeroed in on these guys. But, like, how do you take in consideration there's no pass rush, there's no decision making to be made. You know what the route you're going to throw. You know you're going to drop it in the bucket. You're going to do all these things during the combine. It's going to look great. But, I mean, it's hard to deny this kid right now. Like, it's hard to deny the fact that he might be NFL ready.
Pour some cold water on him?
I don't know.
I can.
Okay.
You want me to? Okay.
Sure.
Well, if he was so good, why wasn't his team this year that good?
I mean, if he doesn't have the talent around him, I mean, like,
It's college football.
So what?
Right? All right, fair. Answered your question. I'll give you that one, right? But you're answering, like, what can take some of the... If the scouts are looking at it now, well, let's just say they might be guys gushing over him, and then if I'm in the room and they're like, Anthony Richardson, #1 overall... This is what's... If you're putting him above Bryce Young, CJ
I'm not.
Stroud...
I'm just saying what he did over the weekend.
If what he did over the weekend elevated him to that point, which, if you look at the Vegas odds, it may have.
Maybe.
Right? Then to me, it's like you're potentially looking at him as the #1 pick. If he passed those quarterbacks with all the things that he's done this weekend, are you willing to take him at #1 overall? Maybe athletically, you're looking at the very least, a Cam Newton, right? At the very least.
They're calling him Cam Jackson.
At the very,
with the size and the build of Cam Newton and the speed of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
all of a
at the
sudden.
very least, the Cam Newton / Lamar. But then you look at some of the other things that he's done this year. The interceptions are high. The decision making isn't great. It's not, though. A lot of times when you have a running quarterback coming out of college, the knock on the quarterback is he can't throw. That's not the knock here. He could throw. Can he decipher the defense? Could he break down a blitz? Things like that. We're going to find out at the NFL level because everything moves a lot faster. I don't know that he's ready for year one, but they'll probably be able to do at least what they did with Trey Lance and San Fran year one.
Yeah, and kind of give him the keys the next year, no matter what, barring catastrophic injury. But
it's going to be interesting. I think his combine performance really shakes up the top 10 because I think as of it stood right now, you had maybe Carolina looking as like, okay, we could probably land him in the top 10 right there. I don't think that's a realistic possibility anymore. I think he's clearly higher than the 9th.
So
pick.
what this does to me, is this looks like this puts so much more value in how much of a haul the Bears could potentially get for that #1 pick. Because if you're trying to get up and Anthony Richardson is your guy. Now look, when Baker Mayfield was taken #1 overall, everybody's like, what? You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing.
Late in the process, but there was 4 quarterbacks that were jockeying for position, much like this year. I don't want to jump ahead, but Anthony Richardson's performance, I think, may have knocked Will Levis out of the first round.
Levis looks good.
Levis.
However you want.
Watching the combine, is that what it said? Levis,
yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Yeah, but anyway, sponsored by Levi's.
Watch the combine, bro.
Yeah, no, but when I look at Levis again, they asked him.
It takes some getting used.
You're happy to be at the combine. He's like, yeah, man, I got a cannon for an arm. Watch this, bro. Some of the effortless looking throws that this kid threw. And I'm talking about Levis, was incredible. I was like, dude, that was a pretty ball. And it was unfortunate that his receiver couldn't come down with it. But the ball dropped in the bucket. It's called a dime.
It's called a Spider-Man meme with Zach Wilson. That's the way I look at that.
I mean, it could be. I mean, we'll see. For Bryce Young, he did not throw because that's his decision. He'll be doing it over at his pro day. CJ Stroud, he went out there and says, for me, if you put me on film, I think I've seen the best player in college football 2 years in a row. He thinks he's the best, and that's the mentality you have to have going into the draft. Now, who's going to jump? Who's going to be the sacrificial lamb that goes up to the first pick in the draft?
Go ahead. If I'm watching film on CJ Stroud to notice who the best player in college football is, and be like, Marvin Harrison's really good. That's what I'd probably say. Marvin Harrison.
So anyway, combine, you put the stock into it, you see what happens. But again, it's come and gone now. Next stop, NFL draft. Well, obviously pro days too will help a lot of these guys that maybe either didn't run so well. DJ Turner the second, defensive back, he runs the fastest 40 of the weekend, 4.26. My guy was flying. Bijan Robinson came in looking like a bowling ball, and he still ran a 4.46.
Yeah, I think it puts to bed any questions about his speed.
Yeah, there was a couple people kind of questioning that, and I was like,
who's going to be the the really good team that adds him, because he's not going to go too high. So it's probably going to be a playoff team that ends up picking up Bijan.
It's going to be the
it's
going to be the Eagles.
Or the Eagles take him at 10.
Huh. It's going to be the Eagles because the Eagles might part ways with Miles Sanders. Maybe they don't have.
I don't think the Eagles are going to take him.
We'll see. Hopefully not. There is some big things coming tomorrow. It is franchise tag deadline day. We've talked at length about Lamar Jackson's future.
Danny Jones.
Bro, they flew to him. They flew to him and his representatives this past weekend. Hey, man, let's get this done. Nothing done. One more time. So nothing done there.
Well, at least they're trying.
They're trying, but
so
look.
It puts to bed the, like, are the Ravens trying to shop Lamar? No. They're flying to try and keep him in town. Daniel Jones getting tagged.
That seems to be the thing, which means Saquon is officially can entertain everything. That's huge.
Saquon could be on a new team by Wednesday.
Well, free agency starts in a week, but yes, when it starts, yeah, you're right. I mean,
you know how that goes. They're like, oh, they agree to a deal, and then they'll announce it a week later.
Yeah.
And tampering's not real.
There's a salary cap, so it's okay. But anyway, it's interesting to see what the Giants do. It looks like Lamar is headed for the franchise tag. Tony Pollard of the Cowboys looking for the franchise tag. Means Dalton Schultz is out. I think they're done entertaining that. They're also very far away from Leighton Vander Esch, Donovan Wilson. A couple of guys at the Cowboys are headed out the door. So those teams. The teams never look the same, and that's the upsetting part about when the team falls short. You think you have all the pieces in place, and a couple
even
walk
when
out
the team
door.
wins, same deal. It's like
I mean, to stay consistent.
It's not
that's
going
why
to be the same group.
The dynasty things, they do exist to an extent. Because look, the Chiefs are always going to be in it as long as Mahomes and Kelsey are doing their thing. It seems like they're always going to be in it. But to win it, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they've done it twice already. But speaking of Super Bowl champions, the Rams have now also told Allen Robinson he can seek a trade after the rumors that Patrick Ramsey was on the block. So all of a sudden,
Jalen.
Those what did I say?
Patrick.
I say Patrick Ramsey?
Is that an actor?
Patrick Ramsey. Patrick Peterson?
Patrick Ramsey is a different athlete.
Sure he is. Of course he is.
Guess.
He's probably his cousin. Jalen
Early
Ramsey.
on a Monday.
Yeah, right. Jalen Ramsey, potentially on the trade block. So all of a sudden, you're looking at this Rams team, and 2 years ago they're saying F them draft picks, and now they're like, yo, do you think can we get some of them back? We need a little bit of draft capital. Dude, Sean McVay coming back is such a mistake. Go to the booth, bro.
Hey, Sean McVay is probably gonna get paid a ton of money.
I'm sure he is, but it's like, look at the situation. Like, they sold their souls to get a Super Bowl, which is great, but now it's like, hey, by the way, you got to eat crow for like the next however.
Look, if I'm a head coach and you're getting paid a lot of money, if he likes coaching football, I understand maybe, but I think it would have been received bad publicly. I don't know that I would have liked that move. I would have understood it financially, but look, you want to ring.
But if they weren't on the same page when things went down, when all these things, when it all went down, they're on the same page. It was just like, yes, I want it now.
They, Sean McVay. Look how much of it.
But they could have not lied per se. That's not the right word. They could have misled McVay and said, like, even though we're trading this away, we'll definitely have room to keep these guys around.
Well, if McVay was told that and he believed them, then he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it seems like he's a smarter guy than that. He understood what it was. But look, don't you think there's a shred of something to do with, obviously, ownership and the GM, they're willing to go all in. They proved that. So if I'm McVay and I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, I live in LA. I got a nice little mansion. I got a beautiful wife. I'm ready to enjoy the next 15 years of my life. I might as well stick around. And if he could rebuild the Rams, right? Because now he's got to
through what?
What do you mean?
There's no picks. They're trying to get picks by shopping these guys.
Well, if they shop them and they get them,
they may not get them. Some of these guys are
this
used
is the point,
goods.
bro.
You want Allen Robinson?
Let me explain what I'm getting at in a nutshell. I used to play Madden and never play the game.
Oh, yeah, franchise mode.
I would
simulate.
just do the offseason. So Sean McVay, have at it, bro. Right? Simulate the season because you're going to go 3-13, or you just out of nowhere shock somebody. And you could really create this like lore around your coaching ability. He already kind of has it with the amount of disciples that he's got around the league.
Truth.
Sean McVay has a chance to etch himself into greatness. If the age that he's at, the success he's had early, the coaching tree that he has, there could be a chance we're looking at McVay in 20 years like, look what McVay did to the league, one of the greatest football coaches of history.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen if he bounces.
We
or it
shall
would.
see.
Maybe you go to a better team and, but I would look at that as soft here.
The Raiders are also planning to use their franchise tag on Josh Jacobs, which I don't think they have a problem with. I don't think Jacobs has a problem with it. That seems to be a marriage that'll just never go away. I just think that Jacobs might be a lifer. I don't know. It just doesn't
Poor
seem
Jacobs,
like...
he's like, cool, man, I'll just carry the ball 380 more times.
Yeah, it just seems
for,
like he's very
the low
nonchalant.
money. You guys want to use that transition tag on me next year? I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Jacobs is playing ball. Yeah, so again, the franchise tag deadline is tomorrow. We're going to find out who's staying, who's going. You're going to find out a lot more about free agency because obviously if some of these guys aren't tagged, they have full reign to go shop themselves and their agents will be busy. And of course, that starts next Tuesday, I believe, is the tampering period, and next Thursday is the start of the new league year already. So believe it or not, we're right back into the thick of things. All your fantasy drafts, all your stock portfolios, all this stuff that you're concerned about. Guess what? It's time to get concerned about them again because it's about to come up real quick. Got baseball on the horizon. That's really exciting stuff because I watched Dominguez go yard ski yesterday a couple times. Volpe looks great. The Yankees look like they have a nice little squad.
Got a nice rookie patch auto Volpe over the weekend. Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
All right, so there you go. You know what's funny? I caught myself. It's starting to make their way onto TikTok. Is guys that are breaking like the big cards. Like some kid broke a 1-of-1 in the backseat of his mom's van, a Justin Fields auto, something crazy. It's
And he's
1-of-1.
filming it in the back seat.
Yeah.
What a stud.
Yeah, well, not him, his friend there, man. They went nuts, and like the mom's like, "Calm down." He's like, "No,
Shut up, Mom.
You don't understand." You know?
I got one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
But it's one card. That's it. Oh,
Fields is a lottery ticket still. Young quarterbacks are
We
where you want to be.
We shall see. But anyway, you can follow Mojo right now. Head on over to TikTok. I just talked about it. And, of course, Instagram and the Twitter at Mojo, M-O-J-O. And, of course, join the Discord. Daily conversations about everything going down on the Mojo app. And the only way to do that is to download the Mojo app. Do that. Available now on the Apple Store and Google Play. Nailed it on Monday. I thought that's been such a bugaboo of mine. But anyway, iPhones and Androids. You guys can both get involved. How about that? So do that. And of course, pay attention to this week because we got a loaded NBA slate coming up again. The NBA rolls on. The NFL free agency is about to start. So a lot of news coming our way here on the Mojo Market Report. So for Dave Sturchio and of course, Chris Gueci, this has been another episode of That Said Mojo Market Report. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow.